You're watching Tennessee Titans today. If you are like me, if you are like producer Jack, you are very excited for preseason week 2. Show us that you are by liking this video right now, and we've got some great preseason coverage for you planned here on Titans Today. Coming up later on today's Tennessee Titans show, we're going to look at whether or not Malik Willis is truly and officially quarterback 2 in light of Mike Vrabel's most recent comments. That's coming up in a little bit. But first, a trade rumor. Could Tennessee be in the market and go get Darius Slayton? Now, PFF was the top 10 trade candidates and their top landing spots. And Tennessee was one of those landing spots for wide receiver Darius Slayton. And I completely understand where they're coming from. When we've talked about adding receivers in the past, I focused not on the slot receivers, more so on finding someone who can fill a particular role. That role is outside vertical speed threat. That is exactly what Darius Slayton is. He's a veteran who's had some success in the past, should be fairly cheap, and I think would be a good fit for what the Titans don't have provenly, or in terms of a proven sense, that makes more grammar sense, off to a great start, in terms of adding to the wide receiver room. The PFF trade idea was a 6th-round pick in exchange for Darius Slayton and his $2.54 million salary. I think that's pretty fair overall. Here was the PFF argument. Slayton burst onto the scene as a rookie in 2019 with 8 touchdowns and a 15.4 yard per catch average, a top 25 market wide receiver. Since then, he has moved in the wrong direction on the depth chart and now find himself behind a group of guys, including Kenny Galladay, Kadarius Toney, rookie Wan'Dale Robinson, and eventually Sterling Shepard when he returns from injury. I like the idea of adding Darius Slayton. The thing that might make it a little bit more sensible in terms of the cost, only $2.54 million. That makes it affordable. Only a 6th-round pick. The real question mark I have is whether or not Tennessee has found someone who can handle that particular outside wide receiver role. Can Racey McMath, the former day 3 pick out of LSU, can he emerge as an option to fill that tall, vertical, outside stretch role? If Tennessee feels comfortable with him in that role, then you don't need Darius Slayton. If you think McMath is only going to be a core special teamer and you don't trust, Des Fitzpatrick, it starts to make sense to look into an outside vertical option. PFF is right. His numbers have dipped each and every single year. 2 more catches in 2020, but only for 11 more yards. The average dip touchdowns plummeted. Although I will make note that having the giant selection of quarterbacks that they had last year and in recent years, none of those guys are even, to be honest, remotely as good as Ryan Tannehill. Really comes down to, does Tennessee need another wide receiver? If you think they do, I think Slayton's a fantastic name to consider. So would you trade for him? Type T for trade, or you can type in P for pass. This is the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad break happens to come here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know, T or P. Let's move to Malik Willis, who's got a lot of praise, some not so good praise. Has been inconsistent overall from the preseason and camp, which I think makes sense. Mike Vrabel says Tennessee's kind of giving him the quarterback 2 duties so they can develop him and see what they have in their 3rd-round rookie out of Liberty. And they've told that, by the way, to Logan Woodside. I think it makes sense. We know what Logan Woodside is. He is capped athletically, physically. He's not going to suddenly become this elite quarterback all of a sudden. We know what he is. Malik Willis has untapped tools and potential. It's this organization's job to help get the most out of him. Obviously, Mike Vrabel is already kind of, I don't even know if body's the right word, but he kind of did when he said he benched Malik Willis because he wasn't throwing the football. The arm strength, the athletic ability, unquestionably is there. Seeing it on the field, processing it correctly, and reacting quickly is not there yet. And to be fair, I want to make this point, by the way. The amount of sensory inputs and processing that an NFL quarterback has to do is an insane amount. Go look at any film study you do and look at how long it takes the film study guy, whether it's me or somebody else, to dissect one play, break down what is going on. The quarterback has to process all of that pre-snap and in 3 seconds or less post-snap. There's a lot going on there. That's why it's so damn challenging. He continues to be pretty inconsistent at practice and training camp and the games, but there are the high-end traits that make you go, ooh, man, this guy could be something special and fun. Ready to risk it all is the phrase thrown around here in the office every now and then around Malik Willis. But what is your confidence level? If you're a 1, type it in the comments section. If you're 100, like I know producer Jack is, type that in there as well. Sound off in the comments. Here's the latest now on wide receiver Treylon Burks. We mentioned yesterday, injury at practice. He was back after leaving early on Wednesday. Had a sleeve, that one of those compression sleeves on his left leg. He was active in 7-on-7, some of the drills, not all of them. And then he also skipped the team portions of practice today, which is a clear sign there is something wrong with Burks, but it's minor. Like in terms of something, he probably felt something tighten up, whatever. So Tennessee was ultra cautious. So I'm not worried about him, even if it's another example of, it's not quite the 100% we want out of Burks. His team needs him. I know the fantasy people are all concerned about, Burks was working with the 2s. Well, yes, but he's also gotten a bunch of reps with the 1s, so I don't know why that was blown up the way that it was on social media when it was in an accurate report by NBC Sports. I digress. I'm banking on Treylon Burks having a huge role for this team, and I think so too is this organization. Now, our goal is 5,000 subscribers before week 1. We are 556 away, making progress, but also running out of time. Don't just take our word for it. Take the word of Derrick Henry, probably. Titans Today is my go-to spot for the best Titans news and rumors. Subscribe right now. Listen to this photo of Derrick Henry. Hit that big red button and subscribe right now. How about Caleb Farley? He's next up here. We mentioned yesterday, rough day. Beat twice, badly during joint practices, didn't have it going very well. Thursday, he bounced back significantly. Red zone interception, pass breakup of 2 of them as well. He looked awesome for the Titans. That is a very big deal. Mike Vrabel said he thought Farley was a bit too amped up, a little too high, and was almost like kind of just overdid it leading up to practice. Farley had a different reason. Quote, I feel like my pads were too high. I wasn't trusting some of the fundamentals that I needed to be in. So I was able to correct that and have a better day today. I absolutely came in today with a mindset to be better today than the day before. And by all accounts, he absolutely was. That is a big, big deal for Tennessee. This defense has so much young talent. The secondary in particular, with one player, one veteran really on this roster, chance to be one of the best young duos or secondaries in the entire NFL. I cannot wait to see how Farley plays this year opposite Christian Fulton. So do you have faith in him? Sound off. Y for yes you do, N for no you do not. Today's show is made possible by our sportsbook partner, BetUS. They are giving you a 125% deposit bonus when you head over to chatsports.com/bet. That's promo code CHAT125 when you put down at least $100 at chatsports.com/bet. And they're just going to give you free money. You can bet on the preseason, the Super Bowl, the regular season, in every single game of the year. Even the preseason ones like the one against the Bucs. Tennessee, by the way, a 3-point favorite. I like it. The Bucs backup quarterbacks are bad. Kyle Trask is not it. I don't know how he got drafted so early. I digress. I'd bet on Tennessee in this one. You can agree with me or fade me over at chatsports.com/bet. Use promo code CHAT125 for that 125% deposit discount. I saw Kyle Phillips now, the slot receiver who's drawn a ton of praise along with Chigo Okonkwo overall from among the young rookie class, plus we know how good Roger McCreary is. Phillips, I think a bit unsurprisingly, torched Bucs defensive backs in one-on-ones and 2v2 drills, and that shouldn't be a huge surprise. These types of drills are perfect for a receiver like Kyle Phillips. When you're able to run some fun routes, you're able to run those whip routes, those blaze routes, whatever route combination you want to use, you're able to make some major big-time splash plays because this is a drill geared for the receiver, especially the shifty route runners. That's what Kyle Phillips is. So let's have some fun. Of the 2 rookie wide receivers, who do you think will end up with more yards this year? Type in KP for Kyle Phillips or TB for Treylon Burks. The trendy thing as of late has been to discount the rookie first rounder and hate on Treylon Burks. I'm still easily taking Burks here. It's not even much of a conversation for me. I think Burks will have double the yards Kyle Phillips were. So I'm typing in my TB. Speaking of T's, Tannehill is next up here. He continues to look sharp so far at OTAs, at minicamp, and training camp in the preseason. 38 of 52, that's 73.1% with one INT in the joint practices. Shout out Jim White for tracking all the numbers there. That was 7-on-7 and at team drills. Really good production from that standpoint, and hopefully a sign of a bounce-back year statistically for Tannehill. He drew a lot of praise overall from a QBR ESPN perspective, but I didn't think he played quite as well as that individual number might suggest. But for an aging veteran quarterback, it's now or never for him to make another step forward, have some more playoff success. One last injury note, it's a good one too. Chris Jackson held out of practice since his knee injury against the Ravens. MRI did come back clean, by the way, so good news on that front. The expectation is that Jackson will be able to return to practice soon. Maybe not before the preseason game, maybe in the days after that. By the way, it was all per Terry McCormick of Titans Insider. This secondary, like I mentioned, there's a lot of talent here. There's a lot of gifted talent and ability and playmaking, and I am excited to see what they can do. Fulton, Farley, Molden, Jackson, Maben, Shakir Brown splash a little bit. Now you add Lonnie Johnson as a corner safety option. This team's got talent in the secondary.